It's tonight we're talking about autographs on tickets, those little authentication stickers, and some collecting goals for 2024. All right, Sean, it's 2024.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Good to be back.
Yeah. I didn't think it was going to be this quick, but we got a long year ahead of us.
That's right. I saw some things over the holidays like, oh man, I want to talk about this and get Sean's opinion on these things and kind of, things that stuck out in some recent auctions that kind of blew me away. But yeah, we can kind of get right to it. Let me just share my screen here. And I want to kind of get your opinion on, all right, so do you recognize this ticket?
Yes.
What is it?
It's the Jordan shot.
That's right. The Jordan shot. So I actually bought this ticket on eBay. This is my purchase. So $1,500 ticket. For those who don't know about this ticket, there's 4 different varieties: a yellow, purple, blue, and I think a green. And I love the blue because it's, I think, the rarest or one of the rarest. And it's the jersey match color for Jordan. I love this ticket. So I was like, you know what? I'm pulling the trigger on it. So $1,500, I feel pretty good about it. So if I were to ask you, I don't know if you've seen this recent sale, but if I was to get this autographed, what do you think it would be worth?
By Jordan?
By Michael Jordan. What would be your estimation if I got this ticket autographed and slabbed?
8,000, 9,000.
Oh, Sean.
How far off? Oh man.
So that's kind of wanted to ask you about. I saw some crazy sales for some recent autograph tickets, and this was one of them.
Yeah.
And basically, this is a super rare autographed blue ticket, and was on the PWCC Premier auction, and it's recently went off over the holidays for the price of $26,400. That was the correct number. Let me double check that.
Yeah.
And so I'm looking at all this and I'm kind of thinking to myself, I was like, man, okay, a raw ticket goes for $1,500 and all you got to do is get Michael Jordan to sign it. Right. All you got to do is get Michael Jordan to sign it.
Yeah.
And somebody be willing to pay $26,000. And it's a nice looking ticket. Granted, it's authentic, but it's probably graded higher if you got it cracked. But, it's not like anything special. No more than like a 3, 4, 5 at the most, I would guess. It's got the Upper Deck Authentication sticker on the back. So those that don't know, a lot of times when you can get autographs, see this little sticker right here? Well, they'll have somebody verifying that Michael Jordan signed it. And then they have a database where you can look it up and get verifying that this sticker, you put in the number and, say, yes, Michael Jordan signed this at his flight camp. And, funny little story about Michael Jordan autographs. He signs very few autographs. He had a deal with Upper Deck. And this got signed at his flight school camp in Santa Barbara. And when I went to California at the show, more than one person talked about, oh man, we would send kids to this flight school camp for whatever it was, $500, $800. And Michael Jordan would sign one item per kid. And they would give the kid an item to sign, be like, hey, I'll send you to camp, get this signed and, give this back to me and we'll all be happy. Right. And that's where this person got this thing signed back in 2016. So my question to you is, do you think this is a ridiculous amount to pay for a ticket that's autographed? Is the raw ticket undervalued? Do you think this is a good buy? I mean, what you said 8,000 initially, but all these things what are your thoughts?
And I wouldn't even come close to paying that kind of premium just for the autograph one. To me, the calculation is the value of the ticket plus whatever it would cost to get the autograph, and maybe a small premium for the time and effort, but that's it. With Jordan, it's different because it's so hard to get his autograph. You can't just send it to a signing or something like that. So it's hard to gauge that. But man, I've talked about this for a while now with autograph tickets and paying such a premium for them. I don't care who it is. If the person is still alive, there's potential for more getting out there and the market getting, especially on something like this where there's quite a few raw ones out there, right? It's not a
Right.
super rare ticket.
I
So
think the blue has, I think 10 or less, but there's a few hundred of the other colors
oh,
between
is
the
that right?
stubs and fulls. Yeah. So I
So
mean, I guess you combine, this is probably the best version. Yes, it's not a full, but it's probably the number one Jordan autograph, of this event. Now, granted, you could probably rank his tickets. You'd have the debut, you'd have the shot against the Jazz, you'd have the shot against Cleveland, maybe a 63-point game, and then this would probably rank, I would say probably third or fourth on his top tickets, just the event itself.
yeah.
So it's kind of like, man, the values on this is crazy. And the funny thing you said, here's another one I'm gonna throw at you. All right, Willie Mays the catch.
Yeah. I
This
saw this.
one, so you did see this one.
Yeah. And I was kind
So
of shocked as well.
right. So this one, $2,400. A nice ticket, authentic. You get cracked at probably graded 2 or 3. This is his famous catch in the World Series, 1954. So $2,400, right? Say you had this signed by Willie Mays, who is deceased, no longer with us. What would you value this autographed?
Is Willie Mays? Did he die?
Oh, I'm
I
sorry,
thought,
he's not deceased, but he
yeah,
basically doesn't sign.
but he doesn't sign. He doesn't
Right.
sign because he's like
Right.
93 years old.
Sorry about that, Willie.
I just want to make sure that I didn't miss something. I saw how much it went for, and I was shocked at that too because I thought that we saw another one sell not too long ago for a lot less than that was signed. So yeah, the premium on somebody like this who you can't get, I think that's a little bit different than the
Mhm.
Jordan, just because who knows what's going to happen with Jordan in the next several years, and however long he lives, he'll have an opportunity to sign a lot more. But with this one, whatever's out there is probably all that you're ever going to see. So it's more desirable. But that being said, a Willie Mays autograph by itself is what, $400 or $500 in value, and this ticket by itself is 2,400 or 500, whatever you just showed. So
Right.
combine those, and you get $30,000. That just doesn't make logical sense to me.
Yeah, because when I was bidding on this, I was like, man, if you asked me, and I wanted to, I'm sorry, this one, I really liked it. I love this ticket. And I was like, man, I don't have a Jordan auto on a ticket. I was thinking this could go for like $15K. And, it went for roughly, like I said, the $26,000. And that I was like, dang, people are just bidding this up. But also, I meant to pull this up, and I'm going to see if I can get to it. The Jordan ticket, this actually sold for $90,000 in the peak of the bubble.
Right.
Autograph, the exact same ticket.
That same one. Yeah.
Yeah. And I meant to pull that up earlier, and I was like, oh, can I go through this here? But, I wonder if that, people see a number, but then the Willie Mays one went for, the same amount here. So here's that one. 90,000 on May 7th, 2021, which was right in that crazy window, 90K. So somebody sold that and basically took a $60,000 haircut. And it's kind of like, man, I thought it was a great price even at 26, but somebody took a bath.
Yeah. But what does a Jordan autograph by itself go for? A couple thousand?
Yeah, I think generally if you get a decent one on, some generic item.
Yeah.
And then here's another one. And these are basically very similar too. So Tom Brady, PSA 2 season ticket holder stub, sold on Goldin on November 24th for $2,500. And then an autoed one with a NFL debut, 17,000.
Yeah.
And it had the little TriStar sticker on it. Gives you a little authentication.
Here's the other thing I've noticed about autograph tickets is that if the player isn't a GOAT, it doesn't it's not the same. You don't get that same premium. If it's just an ordinary random, even if it's a Hall of Famer, like let's say Harold Baines autograph debut, that doesn't go for the same kind of premium that a Tom Brady or Michael Jordan does. And so I think that you kind of have to be careful if that's the game you're playing to get these things signed and then sell them, because it's not quite as lucrative with players who aren't all-time greats. In my observation,
Yeah, kind of what you were speaking to earlier. A lot of the increase in value is dependent on, one is the player deceased. Two, is it extremely hard to get his autograph like Michael Jordan? Three, how often does he do signings? Somebody like Barry, I'm just thinking Barry Sanders, Joe Montana, Bo Jackson, they do signings all the time. So you'll see a lot more auto tickets of those players compared to the Willie Mays, the Tom Brady, the Michael Jordan, the Kobe Bryants. You get some major increase in value. And then I even pulled this one up. Pete Rose, who maybe is notorious for being the person who signs the most items in all of sports. Like he'll sign anything, anywhere, anytime, right?
Yeah.
His basically 4192 hit, a real nice raw version, goes for like $500. I go to 130point.com, $500. And then recently, a very nice ticket. I actually thought this was a pretty good buy when I was looking at it a little closer. 4192 auto Pete Rose, nice ticket. PSA 9 was authenticated. The auto was very early. Has the 1628 serial number.
Right.
It only goes for $800, right? So his auto costs about $150. A raw one you can get for like $300, $400, $500, and that kind of shows you the premium.
Yeah.
For somebody who signs all the time, anywhere.
Right. That one's a lot more logical because you take the value of the ticket, you add the cost of the autograph and a little bit of money for the time and energy that went into it, and that's the price. That's how I view it. So, yeah, I guess the premium for somebody who doesn't sign a lot or is deceased is irrational, in my view.
So I would take it you will not be a buyer if any high dollar autograph tickets.
Definitely not. In fact, I kind of it kind of bugs me a little bit when I see that, because then I know that that's one more out of circulation that I won't be a player on because I'm not willing to pay that kind of premium for it because it's signed. So if it's a rare debut that I need or want, like Derek Jeter, for example, and then it's signed, every one that's signed is one that I know I won't ever get because I'm not going to pay that much for it.
Right.
And so that takes those out of circulation for me. So if anything, it bothers me, all these signed tickets.
Yeah, and it seems like we'll continue to see tickets get signed when you get these crazy premiums, because people will think, well, wow, if I get my ticket signed, it's gonna 3, 4, 5, 6x.
Oh, for sure.
Maybe 10x. But in reality, if somebody's doing a signing that is available to everybody, it's going to be closer to, maybe double your money instead of 5, 6, 10 times your money.
What about Derek Jeter? Because he signs quite a bit, doesn't he?
Yeah, his most recent signing was around $800, $900 if you had a ticket to get signed.
Yeah.
Goldin, that auction was what I was going to look at, had a recent auction sale. I thought I had one pulled up. Let me see. So they recently had an auction, and if you want to go check out their auctions now, they actually show you how to pull them up by going to, you go to sold ticket listings. So you're kind of following me down here. So if you want to see their most recent auction that ended a couple weeks ago, I go to sold, view past auctions, and then I'm going to take a look at the one that ended in early December, which was their like basketball all-star, more of their platinum level one. I try to stay away from their weekly auctions if I'm going to sell something. I want to be in the elite, something that's going to have some high dollar items, that's not going to have tons of items out there. So, I get to their elite auction. So you kind of showing you my ways of getting to these things. All right, pulling up the tickets and passes. And now I'm going to sort them by the highest price. And there's a lot of high dollar signed items in this auction, which kind of surprised me. I was like, dang, Goldin's, I don't know if people are just liquidating because they're underwater on other stuff and just trying to get money back. So, we saw the Willie Mays one, but here's, one of these Derek Jeters you were talking about.
Yeah.
I mean, $18,900 for a box office auto Jeter that didn't even 10. It was a 9 auto.
Yeah. And what's the grade on the ticket?
A 2.
Yeah. Yeah. So an example similar to this without the autograph, I don't know if it's the same ticket, sold on eBay a few months back for, I think it was 5,000 and change, roughly 5,000 to 6,000. So that's the premium, 3x if you put his autograph on it.
But that's crazy to me. Like if you told me this was $5K and Jeter got it autoed, I'd be like, okay, 8, 9K, not 8.
Right.
I mean, 18,000. Right. Like I'm not paying that either. No way.
Yeah. Yeah. Just
for
because
somebody who's
it's gettable.
Somebody who's done a private signing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's and when the Ken Griffey Jr. autographs came out, because he did a private signing, and it was quite a large one, and all of a sudden before that there wasn't a lot of Griffey signed tickets, and if you did have one, it went for an incredible premium. But then he did that signing and it lasted a long time. I don't know what the logistics of it were, but all of a sudden you see Griffey signed tickets all over the place. They're everywhere, it seems like. I just follow Griffey stuff, so I see that. But at the same time, the price of Griffey tickets kind of plummeted, and signed tickets rather. So I guess that supply and demand, same old story.
Yeah, and we've had some comments on here. car_porn. So many fake autos hitting the market. PSA and BGS just letting them get through. LOL. I'd like to get more insight on that.
Yeah,
it sounds very rumorish, but I'm sure some find. There's got to be people out there who just all they do, because if you can forge a good signature, I mean, you're printing money, but I'm sure it's easier said than done.
I'll just say this: when I was at the National this year, I met the guy who, I forget his name, but he's in charge of authenticating signatures at PSA, and he showed us his process, and he showed us how, in one particular instance, how he identified that it was fake. And he's good. He's really good. So I don't know. I have no reason to believe that PSA is just letting signatures through, but I'm not a signed ticket guy.
Not a fan of signed tickets. Cards, photos, balls are okay, just not tickets. And agreed. Then go ahead. Did you?
No, I'm just agreed. Game Time Gallery and I, we see things the same way often.
And then P Daddy G68 says a Larry Bird signed debut sold on eBay last week for $3,700, a good amount less than unsigned ones have gone for lately. And the most recent one
raw. Was that one raw?
Yeah, this one was raw. 45.75 with some writing on the front. I mean, I will say I was pretty amazed by some of these sales on here, between the Bird sale and the Jeter and the Willie. I'm like, damn, some of these tickets, I felt like we hit a little lull, but I don't know if people are feeling stronger with crypto and the stock markets at near all-time highs and the new year. I don't know. It feels like things have gotten a short-term little bump, and we've seen in prices I've been pretty surprised by.
Yeah, it's been the same way the whole time, though. If you have something that's really rare and highly desired, it's gonna get a really good premium, and that's the case with the Willie Mays signed ticket there.
Yeah, I kind of can see. Those just kind of surprised me to the upside. David Rory says, thoughts on signing companies still attempting to corner the signed ticket market. Sky high prices, but I wonder, is anyone actually buying signed tickets from these companies? Fanatics / Fitterman.
Yeah, that's a great point. I, that always bothered me because it seemed like these companies are kind of sort of creating a monopoly that they are taking advantage of, and because they're not allowing signatures outside of whatever they want. Doesn't seem to be happening as much anymore because I think that the market corrected that behavior a little bit, just because when you see a flood of Pete Rose signed tickets and now Pete Rose won't sign anything unless it's through this private company, people just lose interest in that, and it's not as desired. So I don't know. It doesn't seem as bad anymore, does it to you?
I think it's gotten a little better. I still think these players who rarely sign, they're going to try. I mean, it would make sense to say, no, we're not opening it up to everybody. We're going to, corner this market, the Tom Brady's of the world or any other superstar who hasn't signed. It just makes financial sense for them to reap the benefits. And I've been told that it's just a lot easier where they control it. They get them signed. They don't have to take all these mail-ins, send in consignments, make sure it's signed correctly, ship them back. If they want to do the hustle, they're paying a lot of money and they want to profit off that. But the guys who are signing a lot, they're having sign a lot or aren't big names. I think that has corrected in themselves a little bit where they're like, okay, we're just going to charge a premium. If you have a debut ticket, or a rookie ticket or something unique, we're going to just charge a premium on top of that, which I have said all along. I think that's the end game for a lot of this, because a lot of times the guys who you're going to get insane premium like Michael Jordan, Tom Brady, they're not doing signings anyways. They're so rich and it's just not worth their time unless it's some kind of charitable endeavor.
Yeah. And also with tickets, it only takes a small handful to hit the market to really affect the overall market value. If Tom Brady signs 10 whatever tickets, and they all go out there for sale, then it's just not as it will really cause the values to plummet fast, and it only takes a few like that.
Yep, supply and demand. Another really cool item, this Kobe 60-point inscribed. Basically, they had a season ticket booklet, and he just pulled up, I guess, the Kobe back in the day when he was signing. Let me see if I can pull this up. There it is. If you can get a better look at it. Just Kobe 60 points on a panel, which had 2 sick tickets from his last game. Pretty sweet. It's not graded or authenticated or anything. These tickets alone would probably go for about $1,000 each if they graded around a 9 or a 10. And then the panel is just the panel. But man, $14K, and it's pretty sweet if you're a Kobe collector. I thought that was a cool item and just shows you the premium you get for
a ticket.
Ticket signed by Kobe.
Because if you had that same thing, like a Kobe signature on a generic item, what does that go for?
I'm not an expert on that, but I'm guessing, the 500, 1,000. I'm not 100% sure.
But those tickets aren't rare.
No, they're definitely not rare. It's it's hard to find them in like a 9 or a 10.
And in a panel.
Right,
but
the panel.
It just shows that there's still a lot of demand out there for ticket collectors specifically, because these are ticket collector specific items. Otherwise, if it was just a Kobe fan, why wouldn't they just go after some generic Kobe autograph? Like, why is this special to them? So
true. Other ones, another Kobe signed one. I mean, this ticket alone, this is like a $400 or $500 ticket. This Kobe 81-point game. I mean, and the signature is kind of crap. Not crap, but it's a 9. So it's a decent signature. $9,000. Kobe premium ticket. Kobe ticket premium. The big money comes out for stuff like that. And other than that, this auction had some non-autoed items. The very rare Lemieux debut ticket. I mean, 7,300. I thought that was a pretty
That
good
is a
price.
lot for such a small kind of nothing stub.
Right. Just a ripped in half. Just basic stub. I mean, that was a pretty good price. Pele debut World Cup 6,300. I thought that was
Yeah, that's
pretty
pretty
good
high too.
price. This Gale Sayers, I bought one, the non-autoed one of the Gale Sayers, and that was like a $3,500 purchase. This one went for $6K. So it kind of gives you an idea for a player like Gale Sayers, pretty rare ticket. His 6 TD game.
Yeah.
We took the Larry Bird debut. This was a really cool one for all the baseball people out there. What do you think of this sale? I thought this was a pretty cool, pretty good buy, actually.
Yeah.
George Brett autoed Pine Tar game. I thought that was a really cool ticket, really nice looking.
Yeah, there's a few of those out there, the full versions, but yeah, I mean, a stub alone would go for $600-800. So that's full ticket and signed. But again, George Brett's not a tough signature. That I know of.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm sure he's a lot easier than some of the big names that we've mentioned. This Hand of God ticket, that was a really high price. Beckett 4, which is more like a PSA 2, 1,800. I mean, this is a really cool auction. Really great stuff on here. Tiger Woods debut, 1.5, 1,200. This was a cool ticket, I thought. I put a few bids on it, but didn't pull the trigger. This was Nolan Ryan's 5,000th strikeout, but it's Ricky and Nolan. One thing I hated about it is look at the ticket. What does it look like it reads?
6,000.
Right. It looks like it says 6,000. I was like, man, I don't want a ticket. It looks like it says 6,000.
He can't write it, but I guess if you look at it closely, it looks like a 5. But you gotta, when you're writing a 5, you have to do that the little top line. He forgot to do that.
Yeah, so I think I might have bought it if it looked like I'm all about the eye appeal, and it's like,
that
man,
is
I like
cool,
that
though.
eye appeal. That's a cool ticket. But yeah, a couple Final Fours, beat up ones, 1,200, semifinal, final, Magic Bird. But yeah, Goldin bringing the.
Oh yeah, I saw that Mike Trout signed on the date of his birth. What do you think of that? Angels ticket on the date of his birth.
Hey, you got.
He went to the game and held that ticket at the game while Mike Trout was being born.
Marketing. It's all about marketing.
Yeah. Did you actually win anything in this auction?
No, I bid on a few things. But I bid on this Gale Sayers one, but I already had the non-autoed one, and I didn't want to pay that kind of premium. I kind of like my version better. If the Brady was cheaper, but like I said, I'm like you. I don't want to pay these crazy premiums for autograph tickets. Like Willie Mays, like, heck yeah, I'd like to have this, but I'm not paying. It's 29,000. I don't want. I'm not paying 29,000.
Yeah, I guess it depends on if you're looking at it as a collector and you just want the Mays autograph with the ticket, then get the ticket separate, get a cut signature and frame them together. There you have it.
It's not the same, Sean.
You're right. It's not the same, but to a collector who just wants that, I think that it's a suitable replacement.
No, I do like the autos, especially if they look really nice and clean. Like kind of like this Jordan. That's why I like the Jordan one so much. I was like, man, that's just like a perfect signature. But the other thing I wanted to ask you about is your thoughts. I know we've touched on this a few times. If you're an auto guy, are you authentication sticker or not authentication sticker?
I would definitely go with the sticker. What about you?
Yeah, the way I see it is if you're getting a high dollar autograph from somebody that may not be signing again, or Pete Rose, probably not. I'm not getting Pete Rose auto if I got to pay extra. He signed a million things, but if it's $10, I might. And to me, but I feel like I'm in the minority. I feel like a lot of the hardcore ticket collectors don't want that sticker, but I feel like a lot of the non-hardcore ticket collectors that do like autoed tickets want that sticker because they want that validation, that verification.
Yeah.
So maybe when the day you go to sell it, you may get a little more of a premium with that sticker, but if you're just holding it till the day you die and looking at it every day, you may not want that
I know
sticker.
we've talked about this before, but I don't remember, does PSA not consider that when they're grading? Do they
No,
overlook the
they don't.
sticker,
They
or?
just kind of, it's just part of the ticket. As far as I know, they don't ding it. And it's also like, well, if you
Okay.
did have a ding in that little spot, you could cover it with
Yeah,
your sticker. But
that's what I was
don't
just
think
thinking.
that.
You had like some
Or some,
writing, somebody
yeah, some
wrote
writing on
something
it.
on it, just get that sticker put right on there. You're good.
But yes, I do like the sticker. It gives me more peace of mind. And I remember talking to a big collector, and he's like, we're just talking about items in general. He's like, no, I want that sticker on that item. I want to know that Kobe Bryant, somebody was there to witness that signature, especially for somebody who's been deceased and are no longer signs. It does give an appeal.
I don't think that any autograph collector would not want multiple opinions saying that it is authentic. And one is a sticker that represents somebody having witnessed it, and then the other one is PSA, as a third party giving their opinion that it's authentic. That's pretty reliable when, especially if you're of the opinion that there's a lot of fakes out there.
Right. And a lot of the grading, or a lot of the autograph companies do it now, like TriStar. I pulled this up. They give you a sticker with a code. You pop it in, you hit the button. And this was for one of the Tom Brady signings. Like, so it says, oh, Tom Brady, Boston, private signing, NFL debut, and the signing date, April 2nd, 2019. So, just a little more peace of mind. And I believe that was for this ticket, how they put the little TriStar on there. So that's about as good as it's going to get for verification that, Tom Brady held this ticket and signed it.
Yeah.
Not having to worry about any other type of authentication services like PSA or Beckett. But yeah, some some cool sales, and those sales numbers just blew me away. So we're in the new year now. Do you have any collecting goals for 2024?
2 days in already. Yeah. I think that, so I collect two big things. One is 1947 Dodgers, and then the other one is Major League Baseball Hall of Fame debuts. This past year, I added 10 Hall of Fame debuts to my collection. That brought me up to 67. So I would like to, in 2024, I would love to get to 75, but I don't know how realistic that is. I think that there's going to be an election, and I think Adrian Beltre will get elected, and that I have that one, so that's kind of a freebie. But then I have to go out and find 7 more. That's going to be tough, because as you get more into it, then they become more and more difficult to find. So that's one of my goals. What about you?
Clearing out some clutter. During the COVID times, right before, I was just buying stuff like crazy. Like, oh, this is cool, I'm gonna buy it. This is cool, I'm gonna buy it and get it graded. Then I started going to shows, and I started setting up, and I was buying more and then selling some. So I have about 50 items that just, I'm trying to get to my core big historical events or favorite players, debuts. And if it doesn't speak to me, that whole Asian girl who wrote those books, and if you hold it in your hand, if you hold something in your hand and it doesn't speak to you, then just get rid of it. Clear the clutter. So that's kind of what I'm doing with my tickets, is like, man, do I want this? Do I think it's going to skyrocket? And then, no. Okay. Sell it.
Yeah.
Let's get rid of it. Use money I can. I want to get some cooler items. I have some bigger items I've been hoping to get. Some wrestling tickets, like a Bash at the Beach, NWO Hogan beats Iron Sheik, 1919 Game 1, Jordan Flu game. So those are the ones I've been looking for. Immaculate Reception full ticket. I got some ones the other day. We talked about some pickups. I made a deal with the good old Justin Sutterfield. That was a question I also had for you. So got this one. This is on my big list. The Ali Frazier Rumble.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Thrilla in Manilla.
It's a good
You
one.
know, it's a kind of a more beat up one, and it's a press one. And I've always wanted one, but do you upgrade your tickets much? Like, say you get a Hall of Fame debut and it's on the lower end of the grading, and you know there's more out there.
Yeah.
How inclined are you to be like, you know what? I'm happy, or I want to get a nicer one?
Yeah, that's a good question because I'm confronted with that often, and it's hard for me to justify okay, so first of all, if it's something that I really need or want and it's extremely difficult to find, I will overpay for it.
Mhm.
I don't mind that. But if it's something I already have and I'm presented with it, then I'm not going to overpay for it. I'll take it if I can get a good deal. But you know, so I rarely upgrade because of that. Because I'm willing to upgrade if it's a really good deal, but I'm not willing to upgrade if it's, you know, if I have to overpay or pay market value for it or something like that. So yeah, that's I rare to answer your question, I rarely upgrade, but I am, you know, I'm into it. I think that it's, you know, I guess if you, I'm not big on grades though. So
Right.
I guess I'm coming from that bias too. If you're, you know, if grades are really important to you, then upgrading is important, I guess. What do
Yeah,
you
it's kind
think?
of, for me, it's if it's a substantial upgrade and it's a fair price. No, sometimes a really nice higher end rare ticket's going to go for a lot. But if I have the confidence that I'll get a good price, you know, at value or more than what I paid for the original, then I'm willing to do it if it's a solid upgrade.
And then
So
you sell the other one, or
yeah, just
you
sell the
trade?
other one. I'd probably just be like, okay, well, I'm gonna buy this one, and then just the next auction, I'm gonna put one up. But yeah, that was kind of like this ticket. You know, me put on mine because you know this is a lower grade, and I guess it's a press ticket, which you know they're basically the same thing. They say either press right down here, they say ringside or another section. I was like, oh, it'd be cool to get a non-press one that's a little nicer. But you know, this was a good deal and a good value, and I got it cheaper because of those reasons. And then it's well, something else comes around down the road, and I know I have this one to maybe get rid of, but I finally have one that I've been seeking out for a long time.
Yeah.
Another one I got that was part of the package deal was the debut of the Dream Team. And I'm not, like I said, I'm not a huge debut guy, but the Dream Team, they don't really have like one seminal moment. And I thought it was really cool the first time they took the court, like the greatest team ever assembled. So I was like, man, their debut is pretty cool because that's the first of the greatest.
Is that the first Olympic game
No,
that they
so
had?
they
Or
played
was it
in like a preliminary called the Basketball Tournament of the
Right.
Americas
Yeah,
in
I
Portland,
thought so.
Oregon. So
And that's the first game they played there.
right, first game they played as a official game they played together as a team.
Yeah, that's a good. Was it a trade? Did you
No, it's
trade
just
Justin?
for sale. Justin had them for sale. I was like, well, if you package these together, you know, the whole game of he wants this, you want that. And
Absolutely. That I really like that ticket, and I agree that to people our age anyway, at least the Dream Team is, you know, so iconic, and you know, just even if you aren't old enough to remember that, it's just read about it. That team was incredible. They said it then, and it was still true today. There'll never be a team that is that good put together on one field of any kind, any sport.
right. Yeah, so, given at the time they were so far ahead of the rest of the world, and I was tired of you know not winning the Olympics, and man, we're gonna put our best players out there this time around, and freaking Michael Jordan and Magic and
the exact time in NBA history that the greatest players happen to be playing. So put them all together.
Yeah, it's just iconic. So yeah, those are kind of my two pickups, and of course, you know, I showed that one. This is the actual ticket of the blue one. So I've actually Had some pretty pickups that I was excited about.
Any update on the red panda?
No, so I tell you I got info on the red panda where her agent, basically, I got his email, talked to him on the phone.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
got him on the phone.
You're getting somewhere. There is an update.
And I was like, hey, I'm kind of a collector and I'm trying to get research on her very first time she performed in the NBA. And I was like, I have this date in 1993, the whole Thanksgiving, Christmas, on Thanksgiving, and they didn't play, but they did play on Christmas in 94. It's like, oh, well, 93 sounds about right. I was like, well, if I can send you all the email, shoot you all the info and send you an email, can you find out? I was like, yeah, I could probably ask her. Sent the email, and of course, nothing.
Yeah.
You're
going to have to call again. I
mean,
unless you're trying to book her, what you need to do is just pretend like you want to book her for an event. And then until you get that information.
For those who don't know or haven't seen, the red panda is the girl who does the teacups on her head the halftime of the NBA games. I think I got her debut stub, but there's no verification official. Nothing matches up what you find online. So I'm going down this rabbit hole. By God, I can't figure it out. Maybe one day.
So,
but yeah, getting back to goals.
What's that?
I was gonna say you had no pickups.
I don't have any pickups. I was going to say one more thing on the goals, though. I do want to start a process for selling more.
Mm-hmm.
I started selling every once in a while this past year, and I think that it's a really good way to trade, kind of for things that you can't really get otherwise, but just you free up the money and then wait for it to become available. So just like you were saying with the upgrades, upgrading and then selling the old one. Part of the reason why I don't do that is because I don't have a process for selling. I've never sold on eBay. I sell privately every once in a while, but so as part of 2024, that's what I want to start doing. Just either start selling on eBay or have a send stuff to auction houses or something like that. Probably at the National. I'll bring stuff to the National.
Yeah, I think in National we should be pretty good this year, especially we can do a trade night, figure something out. And I think a lot of people plan on coming, and I think there'd be some good opportunity to sell to some other people or make some trades this go around.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's something else we could maybe do is a little show on where to sell your tickets, man. There's Facebook, Booger Stubs, eBay, all the auction houses. I like Leland's and Heritage are my favorites. I think those are some of the best options. But yeah, there's a lot of great options now out there if you want to sell your tickets.
Since you've done it a lot, I think that would be useful for viewers, I guess, and for me, because part of the hang up that I know people encounter is when you reach out to these auction houses, a lot of times they don't reply or they don't care about what you have because it's maybe not something that they know that much about. That's how it seems. So
yeah, it's a lot of times, calling and emailing, and then usually they'll have, sometimes you can email them what you have, but a lot of times they just want to know the value because they may not know. And if you're over $1,000, they're okay. Let's figure something out. But if you're sending them a $200 ticket, a lot of times it's not worth their time. It's probably not worth your time either.
Yeah,
it's where it probably just Facebook, Booger Stubs or eBay. But if you got anything over 1,000, sometimes it makes a lot of sense to use those auction houses because they can extract the most value for those items.
Yeah, and we can talk about the cost associated with selling at various places too.
Yeah, so we got stuff. I mean, we want to do a year in review, maybe next show, a 2023 year in review. Maybe add some predictions for 2024. It's a lot of things in the year, a lot of exciting times.
As always.
But yeah, let's plan on that next week, and maybe down the road I'll do a show. Or we'll do a show on, hey, man, you want to sell your stuff? This is the best. These are your options for the type of items. that you have. But I think we have some good stuff lined up, and we're always looking for people that want to be on the show. So if you got a really cool collection, holler at us. Sometimes we know some people with some really cool collections, but they do not want to be on the show.
Yeah. And those people, they watch.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, you know who I'm talking to. We've asked you before, and you got amazing things that we would love to see.
yeah.
You're too
Maybe
secretive.
we could just blur them out. Maybe. Can you do that?
We're gonna change their voice and their face so you can't tell who they are. All you see are their tickets they put up, and we're all blown away by
We just
them.
want to see the tickets, not we don't care about anything else. Yeah.
Well, all right. I think it was a good shorter show. I feel like Seattle's lots been going on. Like I saw the Winter Classic, the Huskies. Are you a Husky fan? They're going to the
All
national
on the same day.
championship.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Are you
I'm a
really?
huge Husky fan. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, when I was a kid in 1991, the Huskies went undefeated and tied for the national championship, and I was 12 years old, and that was my favorite sport, college football.
Was that the Steve Ettman days?
Yeah, Steve Ettman and Napoleon Kaufman.
That's right.
They had a really good team. So yeah, this year it's kind of an incredible year. That game. Did you watch that game last night?
You know, I watched all of the early game, the Alabama Michigan, and by the time the second one rolled around, I watched about a quarter and a half. And I'm not a UT fan, even though I live in Texas. So I bailed about halfway through the second quarter. And then I woke up, I was like, damn, Washington. It sounded like they took it to them the whole game, and then they almost gave it up at the end.
And then they just gave it back at the very end. It was like even the broadcaster said, yeah, the Huskies would really have to do something stupid to lose this now, and they almost did.
It'll be interesting if there'll be a ticket option for the national championship, because I know Michigan fans would love to get some souvenirs for that game.
Yeah, there's a lot of Michigan ticket collectors.
And then Washington too. I mean, their fans, neither program has had a title in 25 plus years. So, I mean, it's a huge deal for both of these schools.
Yeah. And it's it's in Houston, right?
And that was a crazy thing. You know, if Texas would have won, it would have been the biggest home game ever for a national championship, or pretty close to it.
Well, it's good that didn't happen.
Didn't break my heart. I'm an A&M grad, so I don't hate UT as much as other A&M grads, but I'm not really loving them or hating them.
So, but how far is Houston from where you live?
About 3.5, 4 hours.
Oh, so it's quite a ways.
Yeah, it's a pretty good hike, but yeah, UT would have taken over that game. But Michigan's going to show up big time. Their fans, I mean, they got a lot of money and they'll travel.
Yeah.
So it'll probably be 60, 70% Michigan, I would guess. It should be it'll be a good one. And NFL playoffs coming up, so can't complain this time of year.
Yeah. Still looking forward to baseball though.
It all comes back to baseball.
Yeah. late February, that's when spring training starts.
That's when your season begins, late February.
Yeah. I'm in hibernation now. But it's good. The Husky thing, that's a lot of fun.
Yeah, we got some Justin's here. Good evening, fellas. Go Dodgers. We got 98 days till opening day. P Daddy. The ticket collectors, man, it's baseball heavy. That's one thing I've learned collecting tickets. The baseball fans love collecting tickets.
Yeah. I think that reminds me, though, I haven't seen Justin bragging about Shohei Ohtani at all.
Oh, I think
have you seen
him?
Have you seen him post about it or anything? He seems to be a little quieter than I thought he would be.
Yeah, they had the powerhouse team, but so did the Braves last year, and you never know. Baseball playoffs are funny.
It's different.
All right, everybody. Appreciate you watching. I think we got a few good shows lined up. I guess probably in a week or two, I'll probably try to put something together, kind of get a full review. And hey, 2024 is here. It's good times.
Awesome. Good show.
All right, guys. See you in a couple weeks. Have a good one.
See ya.
Adios.